darklings, lightlings, everyone in between. How are you today? I hope you're well. I am really excited to kick off this week with the Divine Feminine hashtag. If you haven't already gotten your journal yet and you want to participate and get the digital journal, go to Amethyst Ascension's Ko-fi. The link's in the description. It's free. Grab a copy. Go watch her video on this and support her in her divination and spirituality group. It is amazing, and a lot of the informational stuff from this tag will be posted there or in my group, which all of that stuff's below. Check it out. If you haven't, you should. I mean, totally. Just do it. So we are going to talk about week 1 with my work personally with this, and I'm really excited to share. And I'm excited to see some of your guys' VRs to this. For those who want to follow along, I would love to hear about your experiences, so please share them. And if you have any other things you would like to add to what I say or share about the Divine Feminine, I love many perspectives. Starting off, I'm going to talk a bit about what the Divine Feminine means to me, and then we are going to do the spread for this week, which I have the perfect deck for. I recently just got this. You guys know that I am heavy into the Norse Pantheon, but this deck right here couldn't have come at a better time. The Norse Goddess Rune Oracle. It is a very feminine deck, and it is the feminine perspectives of everything in the Norse Pantheon for every card. It is amazing to work with. So that's what I'm going to use for my spread today, and I'm excited to see what messages I get from it. But anyway, starting off with, what is the Divine Feminine to me? So I've established that it is not really a sex-based thing, though the sexes are connected and it is a manifestation of the divine feminine and masculine. Both sexes carry both energies. When those energies are imbalanced, it can cause a lot of chaos or disruption, not only in one's life, but in society and the world. And we are seeing a lot of that today, which we are going to talk about way more in depth on my live coming up on the 13th. So make sure you guys prepare for that and tune in. I want it to be very raw, emotional, and real. I want to give people a voice to express how this imbalance affects them personally and in their reality and in the world today. We really need this discussion. If this energy or force is unbalanced, or you have too much of one without the other, it can create so much devastation. And what's interesting is it's a very spiritual aspect to our world, and it's one that we lost along the way when the world stopped acknowledging this energy or essence. So let's leave the rest of that conversation for the live. I hope to see you there. But the divine feminine energy to me is a force, a essence. It is a almost, we're going to go ahead and call it God. Okay? But not God as in the way that religion or other people may perceive the word God. To me, God is the essence, energy, or force of everything in creation. It is really everything and nothing. And we're going to get deeper into what I mean by that as well. The divinity is an energy or force, and it is the duality or the essence or core in all and everything. And we have different aspects, energies, or faces of that, which is the conduit for the manifestations in our reality. That is what I believe, anyway, and that is what the feminine divine energy is to me. It is a dualistic or polarization force to the all, which creates, or the idea of the essence of God, if I could find a word for it. I'm really struggling to find a actual label for what I mean because it's so much bigger than just the word God. You need both feminine, masculine, and many other labels to make up the whole of the word that I am trying to say, or God we're going to use for this, because it's the only way that I feel like I can say it to where people will understand. But I hope you understand where I'm coming from when I say the word God. It is the all, the everything, the very essence or spark of life. And in many civilizations, it is talked about that it starts out with a void, right? A nothingness. To me, that is the masculine part of this energy or essence of creation. And then you get the chaos or the other dark energy that mixes with this void, and then we have creation, right? To me, that is the divine masculine and feminine essence giving birth to what everything is in our reality or universe. And it's the essence behind many things we don't realize. And that was what I was trying to say in my last video. Like a flower being the divine feminine essence, just as the female is. There really isn't much of a difference between the two. Only difference is how it is manifested in our world. So the Mother Earth, or Gaia, being the divine feminine, you can take for example, and the sun and other aspects of the earth being the masculine, right? Like the flower cannot grow without the sun, and the sun cannot continue without the breath of life or love or nurture of its surroundings, if that even makes sense to you. So that being said, that would be like the ultimate all core explanation of the divine feminine and masculine that I can describe. But there is so much more to that because, of course, we have our other manifestations of it in history or in what we work with or practice, like the goddesses, the gods. All of this stuff is valid while trying to explain what the divine feminine is. These are archetypes of that energy. These are other manifestations of that energy and embodiment of that raw, beautiful essence. And how we claim that in this world, this reality, is identifying it around us, being aware and identifying it within us and claiming that and stepping into that power and balancing it within ourselves. It isn't only to be a woman. It isn't only to be a dominant, successful, or independent woman. Those things are valid. But they're very masculine driven these days in society if we really take a look. Because masculine energy is to conquer, to win. And we've gotten this idea in our heads that to be successful, we have to be driven, right? And that is very much masculine energy that we are embodying. So how can we step into and balance that? And that's just one example of masculine energy in our society or world today, where it is heavily kind of taking over, if that makes sense. Not that being an independent woman isn't a great thing. Not that being driven isn't a great thing. We need all of these things. But how can we balance those out and bring the feminine into this? Just because you're a woman doing these things doesn't mean you're actually claiming your divine femininity. And I feel like if we reached out, acknowledged, was aware, and stepped into that energy and balanced that out, we would have so much bliss in our world and in ourselves, our own daily lives. So, how could we bring that back? I feel like heavily where I'm starting, because I don't know all the answers. But as I work on this, I hope to get some, right? That is the point of this whole thing. Otherwise, it wouldn't be called work, right? Well, I'm going to take the traits of the divine feminine and incorporate them in my life. So as I am driven, as I am conquering my life and world, as I am doing all these things, I am taking note of my emotion through all of it and integrating that. Really sit with and feel what I am feeling and take time out for that. Catering to our emotions is very, very important. I mean, not only for the shadow, but to claim that divine feminine essence. You can find so much wisdom and emotion, and by doing this, we can become more emotionally intelligent. Also, nurturing. Are we nurturing ourselves while we're out there being independent, driven, while we are, succeeding in our lives and roles? Are we nurturing ourselves and the people around us? Do we bring nurture into our daily lives and make sure that we're taking time out for that? Do we listen to our intuition? Do we think too logically, which is another very masculine trait? Not that, again, these aren't valid, we need them, but do we bring our intuition into it, or are we too heavily relying on our logic to solve everything? Because your intuition is a gift from the divine feminine, and to utilize that, to claim that energy, you can become so powerful. I can't tell you how many times I should have listened to my intuition and I would have really avoided a lot of trouble. And then there were other times I did listen. Oh, I listened, and the power I claimed in those situations and conquered them, it was miraculous. So that is a also great example, what I just said, of the balance, to conquer after listening to your intuition. You bring those two energies together, you have beauty. Next, my sexuality. Am I embracing that? Because part of the feminine isn't to conquer, that is masculine. To be feminine, we must embrace, right? That feminine energy embraces. It steps into it, no matter what it is. If it's darkness, if it's light, we face it. We embrace it. We feel it. We nurture it. And we conquer it, right? So, our sexuality, the divine feminine has been associated with sexuality since the beginning. You have fertility, right? You have life, mothering. All of this stuff falls into sexuality. But also, we can use our sexuality unapologetically to step into that divine feminine energy and own it without any shame, without any guilt. You have needs and wants. Take them, claim them, be in that power, because this also has to do a lot with Kundalini and Kundalini awakening, all of that, utilizing that divine feminine energy while you are having a sexual encounter is connecting your higher self to your lower self. It is making you complete. So, sexuality really does have a big role in claiming divine feminine energy and owning that. So, I urge you, when you are having sex, are you making it a spiritual experience? Are you really in that moment? Because sex can easily become about our lower selves and desires and that primal state of just taking what we need in that moment, which is great. Hell yeah, it's great. Do it. Do your thing, girl or guy. But try to make it a spiritual thing, if that makes sense. Really sit in that moment and build that energy and experience that, and let it ride, girl. That's my advice, anyway. Next, claiming my darkness. A lot of us in society can be shamed for doing this. And what I mean by darkness, I don't mean evil. But you have heard that saying, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, right? All the goddesses that we see depicted, they are destructive just as they are creative. And that's another trait we're going to talk about: creativity and our destruction. But our darkness, there is a time and a place for that, to embrace that. And that is also claiming and stepping into your divine feminine. Basically, fuck around and find out, right? That doesn't mean claim and own being a shitty person or treating people a certain way. What that means is, if an occasion is to arise, I'm going to damn well step into that occasion. So, owning your darkness is also more about owning like righteous anger, feeling that power and acting on it without shame, without remorse. And this can be hard for some people because there's always somebody out there, oh, I'm not you better than you, you're horrible. There's always going to be somebody out there like that. But claiming and owning your power, your constitution, your conviction, what you think is right, and standing up for yourself is not a bad thing. That is owning it and standing on business like a bad bitch. Finally, we have creativity. The feminine is so creative. After all, look at the earth. Look at how she manifests as a butterfly, as a beautiful bird, the water, the grass, the beautiful trees around us. Look at how she manifests around us. It's beautiful. Right now, outside, she's raining. She is nurturing the earth, creating more for spring. Just as that energy manifests and unfolds at this time where May Day just passed, this is the perfect time to be creative and step into that energy and create. I've been decorating my home to be in that energy. I've been drawing way, way more. I have been doing so much personal creative work. And I'm really feeling that energy right now, really loving it. And I encourage you to do the same. So, everything we just talked about, everything we just mentioned as a whole, is what the divine feminine is to me, in my opinion, on a very deep level and understanding. And I took a lot of this from a lot of mythologies, really analyzing, looking into Hinduism, um, a lot of Hinduism, Buddhism, a lot of other pantheons, and just relating what they're trying to show us in this symbolism and how deep this goes, and really think about this on a spiritual level of our daily lives. I also mentioned the traits that come with that. Those are the traits that I observed that all of these mythologies kind of have a common denominator in, while trying to explain this big force of divine feminine energy. So, in order to claim it and step into it, awareness, and then we connect. We connect with these traits, we connect and embody this energy, and we utilize them in our daily lives to become better, to really feel it. And I'm feeling it. I really hope that you guys can too. It's all around us. You can feel it. It's thick. I think it's happening right now in our reality without us even focusing on it, like unconsciously. So while that's happening, I plan to latch on to that energy and really kind of utilize all of these traits and characteristics of the divine feminine in my life. So I journaled all of this, and I'm sharing my thoughts with you about it. Because the journal prompt this week was, what is the divine feminine to you? I would love to hear your thoughts. What is she to you? And I call her a she because we are talking about that aspect or energy of the overall. But what is she to you? How do you feel it? What traits do you see that maybe I didn't mention? And I would love to see your work and how you're utilizing it. How have you connected? What have you seen around you in your world to identify her everywhere? Because she is everywhere, and it's something we don't think about day to day, right? We're just, oh, it's a tree. Oh, it's a flower. Oh, it's water. But what is it really around us, right? It's a beautiful thing when you think about it really deeply. All right, guys. So I am going to now do the spread for the week, and then we'll wrap it up because this is getting quite long. All right, guys. So the spread is on the screen for anyone who hasn't seen it. Rachele did such an amazing job on these. I am going to do this reading a little personally, and then I am going to share my results with you. Only because when I do my readings, I like to try to sit with it a moment and really interpret it. And that would be a lot of time of me sitting here thinking on the screen. And I don't want to waste your time. All right, guys, I got it. And wow, powerful. So for the first one, what does the divine feminine mean to me? This card couldn't explain it better. Look at that. In the world around me and every way she manifests. And the keywords are growth, rebirth, renewal. So that transformation, I've said so many times that I go through so many transformations in life. Like I'm constantly on a death rebirth cycle. I think we all are to a point, right? Or else we'd never grow. She's everywhere. She's ever flowing, ever exchanging, and everything. How do I experience this energy? Gift, exchange, love. Look at that. And that's true. Gosh, it's true, especially through love, through exchange. Like, I'm very much a girl's girl. I'm very much for empower the female next to me. I am huge on that. Every day, I always want to tell some woman that she is beautiful. I do it at work all day long, and you'll be amazed at how much it brightens their day. And I mean it from my heart. Why not empower that? Show love, you know? Giving the gift of love too, exchanging it, taking it. You know, I'm someone I love to feel loved. In what way do I suppress this energy? So this one was a little eye-opening. I suppress it. It says disloyalty, imbalance, and solitude. Var. Let's read the book because this is a new deck and see exactly what this card means because I'm not sure how to interpret that. All right. It says, I am Var, goddess of vow. In my name oaths are sworn. Your pledge I allow. I punish disloyalty, those who are untrue. May Iwas and Markstave warn of dishonor to you. She is the goddess who presides over sworn oaths and gives her blessing to unions between lovers. Var invoked to witness marriages and contracts with promises sworn on an oath ring before her. She is a punisher of oath breakers and those who do not uphold to sworn contracts they have pledged themselves to. There's a lot of information here. This is the rune of disloyalty. It represents an imbalance and an exchange of energy between two people or within oneself. While it's a rune of companionship, reversed it shows a lack of partnership, often resulting in isolation or solitude. Perhaps there is some dishonesty in a relationship, perhaps selfishness or thoughtless acts have caused a once imbalanced partnership into a one-sided struggle. Okay, that clears things up a little bit for me. So, the question, in what way do I suppress this energy? I've been through a lot of horrible relationships, a lot of abusive ones. I had to learn a very hard lesson of self love because I kept going through this a few times and allowing it and wondering how I got there. And a lot of it was because I had open childhood wounds that I didn't heal. I didn't love myself enough. I thought it was what I deserved and what I was worth. That has changed. And I believe this is saying the way I suppressed my feminine energy was by not loving myself and owning that energy and stepping up to it and really embracing that energy, because like I said, she is darkness too, and I should have embraced that side of me and stepped out and loved myself enough. And I say that because I was so worried about hurting them, even though they have devastated me time and time again. But I was so worried about hurting them, I allowed myself to keep hurting. How many women can say the same thing? I feel guilt and shame for that, and it's time that I stop that. It's time that I understand that I have changed. I have really worked on my self-love, my worth. I have really worked hard to see myself in a different light. That's so powerful. It created an imbalance within me, and when I allow that to happen, I'm not in my feminine energy. So I'll keep that in mind. Perhaps others who can relate can too, because this is a card of reminding, I feel like right now in this reading, reminding me to not be disloyal to myself. How do I manifest these feminine traits? I got Sif. Ooh, Sif. Isn't that a beautiful card? I love this deck. It is so stunning. Like, I adore this deck. I need to do a walkthrough of it. I really do. So, harvest, reward, yearly cycle. So, I manifest this energy with the work that I do, with my craft. It kind of comes naturally to me. I feel like it does a lot of us. We manifest this energy when we are doing ritual, when we are doing divination, when we are practicing our magic, because we're listening to our intuition. We are following that divine feminine energy through our honoring of a goddess, our altars, through everything we do, following the yearly cycles, the sky. All of that is embracing and manifesting your divine feminine energy. Wow. This was so great, guys, and I thank you so much for being here and listening to me ramble on this long. But I really hope you enjoyed this, and I can't wait for the VRs. Come on, give them to me. Thank you guys so much. And again, thank you, Rachele, so much for this opportunity. It is amazing so far.